from standing in the corner. She took up a fighting stance, ready to attack her pursuer. Mere moments later, the door flew open with a loud bang, and a strange creature crawled through. It was an infant, covered in a thin yellow film. As he moved onward, on both sides of him, horrible, bony fingers spread out. They appeared to be webbed. The infant didn't have any legs. Instead, there appeared to be a long, fleshy stick, and the end of which were hooks, like a hanger. Rose Jefferson raised her weapon up to strike at the creature, but it dashed forward, mouth open, teeth bared. A woman's scream ripped through the air, which could be heard even from the street. Several months have already passed, but Natalie still couldn't find any trace of her mother. Neither the police nor the volunteers yielded any useful information in the search as well. Nat's mother got a job as a nanny for a very wealthy family and then mysteriously disappeared. Pictures of Rose Jefferson were spread around town, but they were of no help. Nat thought long and hard about the situation and decided that only way forward with investigation was to become a nanny for this family herself. Day after day, she would page through listings of job advertisements to no avail. None of the jobs available was what she was looking for. One day, her fortune changed. She picked up a listing from her mailbox with a picture of an adorable puppy-eyed baby dressed in a yellow outfit. The text underneath read that the family was in urgent need of a nanny. Without hesitation, Natalie dialed the phone number printed on the listing and arranged to go for the interview.
Scalp uscat? Hai să spun secretul meu.
Cu ingredient antimătrață dovedit clinic, aloe vera.
Natalie had no doubt that this was the exact house where her mother disappeared. In order to be prepared for any eventuality at her new job, she packed a pepper spray, a fold-up knife, a flashlight, a rope, and a small camera which could link up with a mobile phone. She showed up on time and rang the doorbell. But no one answered the door. There was no response. The girl pushed the door and it opened. "Anyone home?" she asked loudly. Her answer was silence, followed by an infant sobbing emanating from deep within the mansion. Natalie slowly proceeded through the corridors and continued to call out to the residents of the house. The room where she assumed the child was located was dark. Natalie switched on the lights and saw an adorable child who sat on the floor with a wide smile on his face. Her heart melted when she saw that innocent face. She stretched her arms out towards the infant, who responded in kind. He was dressed in the same yellow outfit as the one on the photo. His bald head radiated with a pleasant smile. And swung the door open. As the door opened, she flinched from shock. The baby in yellow and the book shut hard in her temple. She came to and opened her eyes. She saw the child sat next to her with the rope still around its leg. As quietly as possible, she tied the loose end of the rope to the bedpost once more and started crawling slowly towards the exit. She heard an angry growl behind her. Natalie cautiously turned around and her jaw dropped from shock and fear. The infant rose above the bed. His eyes initially filled with crimson red and then yellow. It seemed that flames were seeping out of them. His mouth was now a huge maw from ear to ear filled with fearsome teeth. Some kind of limb sprouted from his back. Like a nightmarish umbrella, he spread his spikes with thin yellow webbing connecting them. The sheets beneath him started spinning around, forming a grotesque, thin, single leg with hideous toes. The child released a growl and then dashed forward, but was slingshot back after about a foot. The rope was doing its job. It held him in place. Nat jumped to her feet and bolted downstairs. She could hear the bed being tossed around behind her. This was the sound of the beast trying to set himself free. When she reached the ground floor, she heard more noise coming from behind her. She whipped around and saw that the monster was in hot pursuit with the bedpost still attached to its leg. The girl yanked the door handle as hard as she could, but it didn't budge. The monster was hot on her tail. Natalie didn't know what to do, so she turned around to face the monster and noticed the key to the front door around its neck. Suddenly, she had a moment of clarity. She began talking to the creature softly, tenderly, lovingly, and stretched her arms out towards it. Unexpectedly, the flesh on her head disappeared. The face turned to one of an infant once more, and his eyes filled with sadness. Natalie picked the child up, hugged him, and with a free hand started loosening the lace around its neck. She slipped the key into her pocket, started raising the infant into the air above her, as adults often do with children. The kid was laughing louder and louder. The next time she caught him, using the momentum, she suddenly tossed him across the room with all her might. The little guy tumbled across the room and landed on the couch there, by the cushions. In the meantime, Natalie produced the key from a pocket, inserted into the door, and turned it. As she was leaving, she saw that a yellow, ticked-off monster was flying at her with a lightning speed. She jumped through the door and slammed it shut. Not even a split second later, a loud thud was heard on the other side of the door. Natalie jumped away from the house and whipped out her phone.